disruption that we see in the last decade. We see big name rise and some names down. So letting some of the big names taking advantage and capturing the market trend, stepping up is not an option. We need to step up, embrace the disruption, and help to sustain our competitive edge. A very good afternoon to you all. We're Team HKUST. My name is Ryan. This is Chelsea, Colin, and Sophia. We're extremely excited to present to you today on how a traditional manufacturing of toys industry in China can embrace the 3D printing technology. And we'll go through on some of the analysis about the benefits that we can bring in and add value to this type of industry, particularly in the leading manufacturing toys. And then we'll go on in details and tactics and how we can implementation and drive business success for your company. So a little bit about the background. So the case company that we're today focusing is a leading Chinese toy manufacturer. We identified two sources of revenue that it can actually gain. One is by foreign purchase order, which is exporting our goods manufactured in China on behalf. And the second one is about how we can distribute our toys to the local toys companies, which includes a lot of different local distribution. And for strengths we identified for your company, it actually has a close ties with the foreign designers on one hand and the local distributor on the other hand. And the second point is that you have a very large scale manufacturing capability, which can help you to drive the cost down and make it as a competitive edge, appealing to a lot of foreign brands as well as a local distributor. So what we see the challenges present in today is that for traditionally, the supply chain involves in threefold, from designer on the very left-hand side, manufacturer, and then distributor. And then we see some challenges already existing in the supply chain solely. Number one is that it's actually a very dispersed location, and then it results in a very high transportation or coordination cost. And this particular challenges is actually presented when it's in the designer side. When the designer has its own idea about how to develop its products, it needs to go back and forth with the manufacturer, and the dispersed location makes a difficulty arise. Second is that we have a very low inventory control, lack of inventory control due to we do not know exactly the customer's preference. So it actually makes the whole thing harder, and it actually arises from the distributor side. So apart from the existing challenges that we identified, the 3D printing technology actually adds fuel to this problem, because on designer aspects, we do see that foreign designers can right now gain access to the printing technology. They can right now develop and to manufacture the prototype on their own. And this actually made our competitive edge kind of weakened. And the other side, on the distributor side, we see that retail stores, particularly like a local distributor in Hong Kong or in China, the Toys R Us, they are trying to incorporate the 3D printing as a tactics in driving traffic flow. So we also see that there's a potential rise when they leveraging on 3D printing technology and then develop toys on their own. So our position as a manufacturer will become compromised. So the implication here is clear. Firstly, there's a low entry barrier for this technology for different of the manufacturing, of course, across the supply chain, and therefore our value as a manufacturer is compromised. Number two is that we have a threatened position. Our significance throughout the supply chain is not that important anymore. So how exactly we can deal with this? Today, our team proudly presents to you how exactly we can deal with the 3D printing technology is by establishing a first mover advantage in the 3D toy manufacturing. We identified two key success factors in order to help you to adopt this. Number one is that you are very large, and then you have scalability to achieve, and you also have the existing relationship with both the designer and the retailers and distributors. So this is the point that we try to make. Number two is that as cost has always been your advantage, so that when you have achieved a scalability, when you have grown in a certain stage, it can help you to drive your costs down. And therefore, we see a potential decrease in the manufacturing and material costs as an industry as a whole, and then it has the capability of driving your manufacturing costs. So these two will add together and give you cost advantage. So the key question that we really want to address today is how exactly your company can use 3D technology in order to maintain your significance across the supply chain. So we involve in in the following presentation, involved in two sides. One is an evaluation of the benefits of the cost. Second is the tactics and implementation details of our entire plan. So I'm going to pass the time to Colin to bring you through about details of the evaluation.
So right now we all understand 3D printing is rising, and it's going to cause a significant impact on Chinese manufacturing. And by using toy as an example, we can see there's a need for us to adopt the 3D printing in our manufacturing process. And there are two key reasons why we have to do this. The first one is we can still, as a Chinese manufacturer, to maintain the cost and scale advantage as usual. So the people will still outsource the manufacturing to us, and then we can still hold the business. And the second reason is the downsides of using 3D printing in the long run can be actually mitigated with the right implementation tactics. And I'm going to walk you guys through the details of these 2 points. So when we first look at the impact on the production process, just using toy as an example. So for instance, toy is a consumer goods, and it's very fast changing. So a lot of time there will be changes in the consumer tastes and preferences. And as a result, the distributor who have to cater for the changes in consumer preferences, they will request to us to change the production or to produce another type of toys. And there will be a huge cost incurred in adjusting the production setup, and as a result, we have to bear additional costs for doing so. And it will increase the lead time and also create inefficiencies as well as excessive inventories in our company as a manufacturer. So this is the existing process, but what if we adopt 3D printing technology, given its rising in significance and also the technological capabilities, we can see whenever there's a change in taste among consumers, if we can use the 3D printing technology, which can enable us to save a lot of resale costs because we can just purchase the printer, apply the right materials that we need to use, and print the production outcomes that we need to have for our customers. And this will lead to same or even reduced lead time, and which translates into increasing business volume and scale. And the increasing flexibility can also enable us to capture more business and more contracts if we can reduce the lead time, and also we can increase the customization to our clients. So flexibility in production process is the first advantage. The other significant advantage is that we can reduce our inventory costs. As a manufacturer, a lot of time we hold a lot of inventories. This is a lot of risk and also a lot of money. So if there are any uncertain demand of some of the category products, such as some of the toys that they just introduced, new toys, we can actually reduce our inventory because we have the 3D printing technology, so that we can print just in time whenever the demand comes, instead of just holding inventory for a long time. And this can reduce the risk of holding inventory and other related costs such as warehousing or the people costs that we have to incur when we hold this inventory. So we understand the benefits about 3D printing on our production process, but we also recognize there are some limitations of this. The first one is the quality control issue. So since 3D printing is still not yet very mature and well developed, or there will be deviation from the standard quality when we use this technology. And the second one is the speed that they need to have when it comes to large scale production. Right now, 3D printing can only be used on an infant or smaller scale. And then when it comes to some large or sophisticated products, such as like some of the bigger and then more complex toys, we may not have the capability to do this through 3D printing. So this is some of the limitations that we recognize. And also there are some other costs that we may need to pay when we develop this 3D printing. So the first one is the material cost. We see the materials that we use in 3D printing is different from the standard molding materials. So in global it's 50 to 100 times higher, while locally it's around 5 times higher. So it's still much higher when it comes to material costs. We also have to develop the expertise to use this 3D printing. So right now, the 3D printer itself may be relatively costly too, but the cost is falling. And also, we may need to train our staff in terms of adopting this new kind of production technology. But the key implication here today we will present to you is these limitations and risks can be mitigated with the right implementation tactics. And right now, I'm going to pass on the time to Chelsea to talk more about how we can implement better and also adopt it in our manufacturing process.
Thank you very much, Colin. So actually, how can we have the capabilities as well as to develop 3D printing and address all the limitations that my partner Colin has mentioned just now? So today I'm going to present to you 3 ways. First of all, we need to have the expertise as well as the quality control system to effectively mitigate the risk. Second of all, we see that there is a high material cost, and therefore we also have certain tactics to mitigate the high material cost. And last of all, we understand that scalability under 3D printing is very important, and therefore we would like to present to you a way to scale up as well as the future expansion potential of your company today. So first of all, your company should develop the expertise as well as the quality control system to effectively implement 3D printing in your company. First of all, we will suggest you to start with some small toy accessories because of the ease of printing. And while you're developing these small toy accessories for their clients, you will be able to develop your reputation as well as expertise. For example, Toys R Us. When we see the Barbie dolls in Toys R Us, a lot of customers might want, a lot of kids might want different color of clothes for their Barbies, or different hats, or different clothes. And therefore, if we start with these small toy accessories, and in which it will be relatively easier to print, we would effectively be able to develop our reputation and expertise in this area. And secondly, we understand that quality control is also a very major concern, and therefore we would establish a very sophisticated quality control system, for example, continuously evaluating our 3D printing technology with our clients to effectively monitor the quality of our products. Second of all, we also suggest toy manufacturer to partner with 3D printer manufacturers. There are mainly two reasons for this. First of all, we want to be able to understand the specifications and the technology of 3D printing, as well as to develop our own personalized toy printer in the long run. Because we understand that, for example, 3D printers, they have different specifications and different technologies, and just specifically for toy manufacturing, they might have their own version of their 3D printer. And therefore, we see that there is a potential under this partnership to really develop our own 3D printer with the partnership that we have with the 3D printer manufacturer. So I would like to walk you through 3 reasons why the 3D printer manufacturer would like to partner with us. First of all, we have an extensive contact and network with the suppliers and distributors. For example, we have different ties with the foreign designers as well as local distributors, and therefore we see that the 3D printer manufacturer would like to leverage our ties, since they also want to further expand their 3D printers or export their 3D printers to other places. Second of all, we have a large revenue source in terms of our clients and in terms of our scale. And last of all, we actually see a very aligned incentives to develop the 3D printing market, because they, since they are 3D printer manufacturers, they will want to really export and really expand the 3D printing industry so they can capture more revenue. And at the same time, we see that 3D printing is also would play a very important role in terms of a traditional Chinese manufacturer. And therefore, these 3 points bring us to the fact that the partnership is mutually beneficial for both parties and is feasible. So after talking about how can we acquire the expertise as well as the quality control system, I would like to talk about the high material cost problem. As my colleague Colin has mentioned just now, the current problem is that the material cost for 3D printing is around 50 to 100 times higher than traditional manufacturing in China. However, we see the fact that we can actually develop a close relationship with the local plastic filament or other raw material manufacturers, since the raw material cost of 3D printing locally is only 5 times higher when compared to 50 to 100 times higher when we source from other places. And second of all, in the long run, we see that we will be able to scale up our 3D printing as well as enjoy different cost advantages, so that the raw material cost will be lower in the long run. Second of all, we see that 3D printing is actually a trend among the world right now, and there is this rising trend of 3D printing will actually also help to popularize the raw materials in terms of 3D printing and mitigate the high raw material costs in the long run. So after we talk about the high material cost, I would like to walk you through the last point about how 3D printing can be scalable as well as beneficial for your company's future expansion. So we see that while developing 3D printing capabilities as a traditional Chinese manufacturer, it actually opens up your possibility to be a future retailer if your company has the interest to step into this industry. So how can we actually do that? For example, if a customer actually wants to have personalized products from you, then you can probably set up an e-commerce website online and actually cater for these individual customers instead of going through the other distributors or other designers that you traditionally want to go through. Second of all, you can also expand your manufacturing by setting up different local small production plants. So what we mean by this is that we know that we have clients in very dispersed locations, and if they are really interested in 3D printing, and if we have the capabilities to develop 3D printing in the long run, we will be able to become closer to our customers. For example, if we understand one of our clients is in a certain area in China, we will be able to set up a nearer local production plant nearer to them, so that we can really cater for the flexibility and also reduce the problem of the transportation costs that we see right now as a problem of the traditional supply chain. Second of all, we also provide better service because we can be closer to our customers, we understand their customer preferences, and we will be able to better control our transportation costs as well as our inventory control problems. So let me walk you through the ideal stage that we see if your company really implements 3D manufacturing. There are 3 points that I would like to highlight. First of all, your company will be having an increased adoption of 3D printing manufacturing technology with wide manufacturing and distribution points by setting up different smaller local production plants that are nearer to your clients. Second of all, under our continuously quality control system and close monitoring, we will be able to provide very quality products even under the use of 3D printing technology, and also having an increased flexibility in terms of our inventory control as well as our understanding of customer preferences. Last of all, and most importantly, we want to have a well-developed ecosystem and be a first mover as well as a leader in the 3D printing manufacturing industry. So now I'll pass the time to Sophia to walk you through the impact.
So we have understand the benefits and also some of the risks of using 3D printing in toys industry manufacturing. And we would like to summarize some of the qualitative impact of using 3D printing. The first of all is a first mover advantage. We understand that many other industries, for example, automotive and also aerospace, they are already using 3D printing, sophisticated and also highly customized product. But we, as a toys manufacturing company, we will be the first. And by adopting 3D printing, we can capture the larger market share with this strategy. And the second one is develop the future capabilities in terms of any changes and also development in the 3D printing. We can capture it with a better network and also better cost control. And some of the key indicators we would like to use in order to measure our success. The first one is the market share. Because we are the first mover in using 3D printing in toy manufacturing. We expect to increase around 20% in a 5 years' time in our market shares, and we will regularly evaluate it if we cannot meet it. The second key indicator will be the profit margin. We understand that some of the costs may be increased, for example, the material cost in producing the products, but there are also some costs that can reduce it. For example, the waste we use in manufacturing the toys right now, and also some of the lead times and labor cost productions, and some of the costs as well is like logistics management, because we are more closer to our consumers, our target. The third key indicators would be the material rates and also lead time, as I mentioned earlier. And some of the financial impact would be with the key assumption that I mentioned earlier. We expect to increase 1 billion. That would be like 5% of the total revenue, and also increase in margin after 2 to 3 years implementations. Last but not least, some of the potential risks that we identified that by using 3D printing in toy manufacturing. The first one is the high material cost we explained earlier. By identifying the specialized material source, then we can group all the materials together to reduce the cost by economics of scale. The second one is inefficient expertise in 3D printing. We will by R&D research more and hiring training with our existing employees, then further to compensate this. The third one will be the imitation cost that our competitors can adopt. But because we are the first mover, we have a better reputation and also cost control. We are confident that we can be able to mitigate this. To summarize our implementation plan, we expect 2.5 years to 3 years after we can launch this manufacturing production.
谢谢李峰。 the disruption of technology actually brings challenges and opportunities for corporates. And today, we see that toy industry, as a leading manufacturer, traditional manufacturer in China, you need to step up, embrace the disruption technology that 3D printing can offer you. And we have presented to you the evaluation about this strategy and the tactics and implementation details. So we'll be happy to go through in the Q&A section. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much to the HKUST team. And now we will have a 15-minute Q&A session with the judges.
Thank you very much. It's a very professional presentation. Excellent. Actually, you mentioned all the key areas that I was going to be covering. And you keep talking about, you actually in the end, you summarize the potential risk of the industry. And you talk about quality control, you talk about implementation of tactics. And you keep talking about quality. Now, I have two questions for you. First of all, in the toy industry, the most important aspect of it is the safety for children. In fact, a lot of toy companies in the past have been brought up because the government had asked them to retract the massive amount of toys, from the market, and they actually have been known to go back because of that. Now, if you want to talk about quality and the very high material cost, have you considered how do you put it into the equation to ensure the quality? What do you mean by quality? How to ensure safety is part of quality? It's not just the design itself, the weight and all that. And that's one question. Okay? The second question is in respect of you're talking about, you do the design and you understand the customers' demands or the requirements on what they want in toys. But also in the past, the toy industry has been known to be a leader in designing certain toys for the market and not the other way around. So how do you actually integrate what is coming out from the big data, to understand the world trend, to understand what people want, rather than what you design did to what people want? I mean, there is an interactive process. So on the design aspect, the quality safety aspect, how do you address it?
So thank you for your question. I would like to address the second part of your question regarding the fact that the customers' demands are changing and that they are really the driven part of the toy design instead of the manufacturer designing something for the customers. And we see that as a toy manufacturer, we can also cater for this demand because, for example, when the kids like to play Barbies, and when they look at the Barbie doll, they might be driving the customer demand in terms of, for example, they want a red dress for the Barbie or a blue hat for the Barbie. And we understand that with 3D printing, the advantage is that even for a low volume, you can really be personalized and customized for the customers. And we see the potential for the Chinese manufacturer here for her to develop 3D printing. For example, after they solicit and understand the customer's demands, for example, what color dresses do they want or what hats do they want, they can be able to really manufacture these for the customers. So in this whole cycle that we're talking about, the customers are still driving the demand, and they're giving us some.
Yeah, I understand that part, and I think you addressed it already in the presentation. But it's the other way around that I want to flip it across. How do you lead them to look at what kind of toys would be suitable for the future generation? For example, educational aspect. You can be the leader in providing toys which are more beneficial. And I think looking at the big data in the world right now, in your R&D, looking at quality, you're talking about quality, that should be an input into your considerations. So you could be the leader of the design rather than the other way around.
Can I just add to this? How can you make us the Uber
Yes,
or the
exactly.
iTunes and really change the industry? That's what.
For the betterment
Yeah.
of future generations.
So any ideas?
Definitely, yeah. So not just this question. So for a traditional Chinese manufacturer, this is going to be they have to be very innovative. And then we believe that 3D printing can exactly provide the opportunity or the channel to get into the market that you just mentioned. So one of the key ways that you can do is to do it like a C2B model, like a lot of toy retailers companies have been doing. So for instance, as we mentioned in our presentation, the possible opportunities for future business expansion if the 3D printing become more prevalent in the world. So not just they are taking our role as a manufacturer, we can be the lead who takes their role as a retailer or a designer. So one of the, when we do this, we have to develop the capabilities that we need. We have to look at the weeds. There are a lot of factors. But one thing we can do that we can implement is to have a C2B model. Basically, you can have a online website, sourcing ideas from the customers, and then listing what they want to have in their toys, and we can try our best to leverage the manufacturing capabilities to do this. And addressing the first part of the question about the quality, safety is definitely one of the key parts of the quality. And right now, for 3D printing, it has been used in other industries such as airline and automobiles. So safety is not just important in toy industry, and we understand that for any kind of manufactured products, we want them to be safe. So at first, as we mentioned, we want to have a really rigorous quality control system to make sure that the quality are up to standard. So this is the first part. And then in terms of production scale, we'll also start with some like less complex or some of the smaller toys such as accessories that manufacturers can consider so that the risk of quality control can be reduced to a minimum.
And I think a point to add is actually we understand in toy manufacturing, one of the key problems that will arise safety problem is actually the materials we use in the toys. For example, the plastic. Maybe some of the plastic when they reach a high temperature, some of the toxic gas may be produced. We understand this concern, and we understand in Chinese manufacturing that is even more common because of the high cost of goods sold that they want to reduce the cost. That's why they use such a poor quality materials. And because we are the largest and the leading manufacturing in toys industry, we will try to partner with some of the material sourcing company. We have contract to fix the cost, and we ensure the materials that we use will not be compensated by the cost, the quality, and also whether the material used is safe will be the highest priority when we are doing the sourcing.
So look, 2.5 years ago, right? My two daughters, I took them to see Frozen. Right? The whole world went crazy. None of the toy manufacturers could produce the product. So I think we see the benefits. That you're out there, you get the product out much quicker, and in the location when the demand is. But again, we keep talking about quality. We operate, Europe, North America, have very high stringent quality standards. So how can we can talk about that at the sort of base in China where you manufacture? You're going to devolve this, put this out in on-site, people can design
Especially you're talking about your networking ecosystem, because your quality control span will be quite onerous.
So how do we get the right quality control in Toys R Us, in London, in Toys R Us in New York, everywhere, where we're actually going to be potentially making this product outside?
Yeah, so there are a couple of ways to do this. So first of all, like internally, we really need to have a really rigorous quality control system. But also externally, we will partner with those 3D printer manufacturers. So right now, they are servicing a lot of key industries such as airline, automobiles, or even trains. So in these cases, they also have proven success in terms of showing that those materials they are safe. And then we believe that there's also potential for these kind of technological capabilities to be transferred in terms of the toy industry. And then in terms of like entering the international market, we definitely will try our best to meet the international standards, such as all kind of quality standards that they have in order for our product to be introduced to the market safely. So this is definitely one of the key concerns, and this should be during the culture of the manufacturer as well.
I think just to build on that, I think we actually acknowledge the importance of safety in our products. And that's the reason why we incorporate at the very first day in our implementation that we screen which type of product offerings that we can manufacture and incorporate 3D printing technology. And then just to back it up with Frozen, we understand a lot of different product offerings. So we start with the more developed and higher age, and then we go on into more infancy stage. So this is step-by-step.
I think your suggestions were very good. I just wanted to clarify my own understanding. Are you suggesting that solution for the Chinese domestic market or your global market, or are you expecting to have a different approach for each? Because you're talking about devolving the actual manufacture to more smaller local sites. So are you just talking about within the China geography, or as you referenced earlier, are you talking about London, New York, Paris? I'm not quite sure if your solution is just for the China domestic market or international.
Definitely. So like we are the consultant to a traditional Chinese manufacturer. And then our team used toy as an illustration because China accounts for more than 70% of the toy production in the world. And we also see a lot of like risks and also impacts 3D printing is bringing to our company. So right now, what we define it as is we are a leading Chinese toy manufacturer locally, but we also have some of the production from the foreign countries. For instance, Disney or some other foreign countries, they may just outsource their manufacturing basis to us, and therefore us to manufacture this product to distribute. So we both distribute locally, and we also do foreign contracts. But our implementation or the tactics that we revolve around is how this company as a whole can apply or incorporate in 3D printing in maintaining the two key benefits as a Chinese manufacturer, which is cost and also scale advantage, so that we won't be compromised by 3D printing while we can sustain our advantage by integrating this technology in our production process.
Still not clear if you're suggesting it for both domestic and international.
Well, I think just to clarify that the target company that we are looking to give our consulting advices, they are OEMs, they're original manufacturing equipment manufacturing companies. So they actually take orders foreignly and domestically. So what we are looking is to growing our capability in 3D printing, and then we can match with both the foreign and the domestic market.
So in short run, just to be pretty short, in short run we're looking at China market only by using this 3D printing technology. And in long run, when we expand our business with this technology, we're looking to enter more market, and even a lot of foreign designers, they can license, they have outsourced their manufacturing products to us, and while we can use 3D printing technology to produce them and to distribute the local market too. Because China is a big market for toys right now, a lot of this there.
So just going back to one of your early slides, isn't the whole point of disruption that if I'm a designer sitting in the US,
Yeah.
I can print my own product. I don't even need to come to you.
So what's the
So-
point of the OEM?
Yeah. So yeah.
I think the cost advantage is clearly one of the benefits that we can add value to because of the scalability that we offer. Because at the first mover advantage, we consolidate all the experience that we have and all the knowledge that we have. So these two are comprised of the offerings and the quality that we can offer to the designers. We understand that designers right now gain access to 3D printers, they can print their own, but if we have the cost advantage together with the quality assurance that we prototype is exactly 100% match or kind of like statistically matched with the designers' the perception, I think these are some of the key areas that we can provide.
Yeah, but when you mention cost advantage, are you talking about the fact that in China the product, raw material
Cheaper?
is cheaper?
Between bulk or?
Yeah, we're talking about manufacturing. So right now, like why the designers they outsource their products to us for manufacturers because we produce at lower cost. Because in terms of land, local people, or even the production process, we can do it cheaper. And we see the threats of the 3D printing to send it to our company because they can be the manufacturer. But in order to sustain our business, we have to change and adapt to this trend. That's why we have to use 3D printing to sustain our cost and scale advantage that they cannot match as a designer of a smaller individual.
Okay. So question, patents.
Yep.
So can you help us understand the impact? I understand there's a lot of patents that are about to expire in the next technology years. What does that mean? So we're a manufacturer. What does that mean for us? Can you help us understand that?
I think patents, the very first thing that you note is that it actually gave you the opportunity to gain an equal good quality of 3D printers at a lower price, so that your upfront investment for the 3D printers would not be that high compared to years ago when the patent is not expired, and when the patent right now expired, you have more, same amount of money to invest more and to scale up your business faster. So I think this is the very first thing that we know about the expiration of patent.
So you're saying now is an opportunity for us.
Now is exactly the opportunity.
Yeah, we have to move fast.
What makes you, obviously we've only got a small amount, what makes you think other companies won't be able to copy your format, your solution?
So your question is, what if our competitors copy our strategies?
Yes.
Yeah, so we definitely see this as a concern. This is very possible. Like Chinese, they have like an imitative culture. So we also include this as in our business applications. So what we can see right now is we can leverage on our existing large-scale customer relationship to move into this fast-changing place quick enough to gain the first pioneer, to gain the first mover advantage. So when we leverage the resources that we have, and then when we incorporate this into as a key part of our manufacturing process, we can have the first mover advantage that other smaller companies may not be able to match when they copy us.
So there doesn't seem to be any barriers as such. You're hitting your hopes on first mover advantage.
Also, you are saying they don't have any barriers in terms of.
There's no barriers to them copying you, but you're hoping and relying on first mover advantage to get the market share.
As the
to get
patents
market share.
expire, we are expecting there's a huge boom of manufacture of 3D printers. And then we are also seeing a trend for each of the manufacturers of adopting this technology. So being the first mover advantage is inevitable and is absolutely beneficial to your company.
Another possible entry barriers can be the patent that we develop with the with the 3D printer manufacturer.
Thank you very much.